Hey, everybody. Happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. We made it to the end of the week. It's been a long week, too, hasn't it? Happy Friday. It's the 17th day of January 2020. Hold tight just a second. I just got a text from Eric. Eric Granstrom just sent me a text. Fog up here. Eric lives right by Pangborn Memorial Airport. Fog up here is thick. Haven't heard of any takeoffs or landings at Pangborn. And he would know because he lives pretty much right up there at the airport. Yeah, it's icy. It's foggy. It's 9 degrees. Outside of our studios. They call that ice fog, is what they call it. And we're in for more snow. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days. We have a winter storm watch. It begins at 1 in the morning, and it goes until 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We have some graphic upwards of 3-4 inches of snow, a distinct possibility, maybe even 5 inches of snow, additional snow coming. Yeah, we're in for another round of snow. It's coming our way. Most of it, by the way, will be coming down during the day on Saturday. The system is slowed down. It was supposed to start snowing late this afternoon into the early evening hours and then kind of peter out on Saturday morning. They've changed that timeline a little bit. The snow is going to start coming down later on tonight and then most of the day on Saturday. That all-important forecast is coming up. Plus, of course, we'll take you up to the mountain passes. Right now, it's a chain requirement on I-90 and a chain requirement on Stevens, but at least Stevens is open. That'll be our lead story when we get to news. We also have sports, including highlights of last night's Wenatchee Panther Moses Lake Chiefs wrestling match that we were happy to bring with you here on the NCWLIFE channel. And the Cougar men's basketball team defeated a ranked opponent for the first time in 12 years last night in Pullman. We'll talk about that when we get to sports, plus the obscure holiday. Mike McNaughty has an opinion coming your way. We've got some celebrity birthdays and today in history, and in the back half of the hour, it's my conversation with Ashley Sinner, of course, with the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. Tomorrow's a big day. It's the 17th annual Multicultural Festival, which starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. One of many events going on this weekend, and we'll tell you some of those events, weekend events with Megan McPherson coming up as well. We got a lot to get to on this Friday. Let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras. With the ice fog that is formed and is hanging very low, our cameras are somewhat limited today. So we're going to start out with Monument Hill out there in Quincy. It's a little clearer out there. We're only using cameras where we can actually see stuff, which makes sense. So our normal cameras that we use in the Wenatchee Valley proper are pretty much, they're working fine. You just can't see anything. And the fog, the ice fog, is really limited to the valley here, right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Some of the other places, the fog isn't nearly so bad, but it's only 9 degrees outside of our studio. Sunrise this morning, 7:42. Sunset tonight, by the way, 4:40. 8 hours and 58 minutes of daylight. Will be above that 9-hour mark when we visit again on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Camera number 2. By the way, Malcolm is in charge today. He's pushing the buttons. 3M. Getting the day off, a well-deserved day off for Megan. That's Valley High. Hi, Valley High. How are you? On your way up to Blue Pass, you can see just a couple of stray snowflakes. This is a black and white image because it's just not light enough for that camera to automatically change from grayscale to color. But I think if we have enough time towards the back half of the hour, towards the end of the show, if we have enough time, and of course the sun will be up by that point, we might take another tour around the valley with some other cameras. Good morning, Valley High. Camera number 3, we're off to Cashmere, Apollonie's. Again, that's a perfect example of what I'm just talking about. I don't see any fog at all in the Cashmere area, and Cashmere is only 6 miles from Wenatchee, but again, it's all about valleys, and we're pretty socked in here in the Wenatchee Valley, but not so much in Cashmere. Good morning, Cashmere. Looks like the roadways are considerably better. We did have a little bit of snow melt on the main arterials around north central Washington yesterday. And by the way, the temperatures are going to climb well into the 30s to near 40 by Monday. So after we get through the snow event on Saturday, we'll have some snow melt. Finally, camera number 4. Malcolm says we're going to pay a visit to Monitor. And there you go. You can see that fog kind of creeping in from the Wenatchee Valley and working its way up Highway 2 towards the Monitor area. That's a stunning view there. That's just incredible. And the guys who work, and the guys and the gals who work in the Sky-Fi division of Local-Tel, this is kind of a fun time of the year for them because when they have to go up and do maintenance at these towers that are very remotely located at high elevations, they get to have fun doing that. You know, they get to do like snowmobiles and stuff like that. Not a bad gig. They work hard. They work really hard, but there are some residual benefits from working for that division. Good morning to our friends in Monitor. Can't quite make out the Monitor dome from that view. Oh well, we tried. So that's a tour around the valley. It is just about 6 minutes after the hour. Let's take a look at your weather forecast. And we have a slide that was brought down to us from the National Weather Service to give us an idea of what we're looking at. As far as snow is concerned, as I mentioned before, we have a winter storm watch. It starts late tonight, basically at 1 in the morning. It goes basically all day Saturday till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Take a look at where you'll see, again, 3 to 4 inches of snow for the Wenatchee Valley. Once again, the mountain passes are going to get hammered. This winter storm watch is not in effect for everybody, just for the following areas. I'm going to read you the list here. The Wenatchee Valley, Chelan, Antioch, Kashmir, number 1 Canyon, number 2 Canyon, Omak, Okanagan, Brewster, Bridgeport, Orville, Nespelem, which I love to say on television, Waterville, Mansfield, and Badger Mountain Road. Outside of that, you're fine. So, yep, here we go. Another round of snow. So be prepared for some slick driving conditions, especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. If you're going to be out and about on Saturday night, driving around the valley could get a little on the cattywampus side. So there you go. That's what we're looking at as far as snow is concerned. For your detailed look from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they give your home a hug. The National Weather Service says, there we go. Oh, and there comes the van. I love the van. Kind of zooming in there, fixing my frozen pipes. Nothing really quiet today. Going to be kind of quiet as the day progresses. It's going to get cloudier. The fog will burn off a little bit, but really not much. Just kind of quiet, the calm before the storm, if you will. 29 for our afternoon high. The snow could start coming down about 10:30 tonight, lightly, with an overnight low of about 22. Overnight snow before sunrise tomorrow, 1 to 2 inches. The big story, as I mentioned again on Saturday, it's going to snow most of the day. So 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight, an additional 2 to 3 inches possible on Saturday. So by the time we get to Saturday night, we could have upwards of 5 inches of fresh snow on the valley floor. At least a couple of inches, maybe around 3 inches is about average, but we could see up to 5 inches of snow in Wenatchee by the time we get to Saturday night. Cloudy on Saturday night, 25 with the overnight low. We warm up on Sunday to 35. A little bit of snow melt there. Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a holiday for a lot of folks. You'll find some patchy morning freezing fog. Outside of that, just clouds and a high of 36. You notice we don't have any sun breaks at all until we get to Wednesday. We're going to be in a typical January pattern there, with lots of clouds, early morning fog, not a lot of sunshine, a bit of an inversion layer, and there you go. Again, we are going to get snow late tonight, right into Saturday morning, and then it tapers off on Saturday afternoon. Anywhere from 2 inches of snow, which is being pretty conservative, upwards to 5 inches of snow. Again, that's here in the Wenatchee Valley. Other locations, the Waterville Plateau, the Omak Okanagan area, the Manal Valley, you are going to get more snow as the system comes in from the southwest. All right, it's 8 minutes after the hour. To the mountain passes we go, and it's been a long, hard slog for our friends at the DOT and for you folks who need to travel. That's a live shot of I-90, Snoqualmie Pass. Chains are required on all cars unless you have all-wheel drive. You got snow and ice on the roadway. It's ruddy, it's muddy, it's chunky, it's glunky, it ain't fun. It's going to take you a while to get over I-90. Again, chains are required. To Stevens Pass we go. Yep, chains required there, but hey, it's open. That wasn't the case at this time yesterday. Stevens Pass was closed to through traffic from 2:30 Sunday afternoon until 4 o'clock yesterday. That's how bad it was, especially on the west slopes of Stevens Pass. But you can at least get over Stevens Pass now, but you'll be chaining them up unless you have all-wheel drive. And finally, to Blue Pass we go. Things a little bit easier there. Traction tires are advised on US 97 Blue Pass. They have some occasional snow flurries coming down, as you saw from that Valley High camera, and there's a traction tire advisory. So to recap, traction tires are advised on Blue Pass. Chains are required on I-90 unless you have an all-wheel drive, and chains are required on Stevens Pass, again, unless you have an all-wheel drive. They have a winter storm watch for the mountain passes. It goes into effect this evening as well. It goes all the way through Saturday afternoon. The snow level, the heavy snow will be above 2,000 feet. So we're looking at a lot of snow in the mountain passes. Nothing today. You're okay today. Tonight, 3 to 5 inches of snow. Saturday, 4 to 8 inches of snow for the mountain passes. Saturday night, another couple of inches of snow, and then they start to dry out as well. So chains required on Stevens, chains required on I-90, traction tires advised on Blue Pass. Here's your recap of the mountain passes. And again, you're going to have winter driving conditions, especially on Saturday in the Cascades. Boy, it's been a continuing pattern of that, hasn't it? They've gotten so much snow up in the mountains, which is fine with us. 10 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. When we come back, We'll have your Friday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and this morning we're broadcasting live from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCWLIFE channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, independent agent and owner at Springwater Insurance Group here in North Central Washington. And one of the things we enjoy doing is teaching people how to find the right Part D drug plan. And you know, if you went into a shoe shop and they just sat you down and handed you a pair of shoes, that'd be confusing. You'd want them to measure. Well, we take a measurement at Springwater Insurance Group. We ask you 4 questions. What's the name, the dose, the frequency, and the pharmacy for your medications? This allows us to measure and get the right fit for 2020. Give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group for the right fit for your drug plan at 888-2600.
Hi, how are you? Happy Friday. We have ice fog, frozen fog, and 9 degrees outside of our studios. Cloudy today. We'll top off right around 25 or 26, and then the snow will begin about 10 o'clock tonight, go through about 2 o'clock or so on Saturday afternoon. At least 2 inches of snow here in the Wenatchee Valley, maybe upwards of 5 inches of snow in the Wenatchee Valley, and even more snow in the upper elevations. Be prepared. Here's what's making headlines. Highway 2 at Stevens Pass reopened to through traffic on Thursday afternoon after being closed since Sunday afternoon. Look at this footage here. They had winter storms, of course. They had down trees, down power lines that kept some towns along the west slopes of Stevens Pass cut off. The Department of Transportation on Wednesday used a helicopter, check out this footage, to try and blow some snow down off the trees that line the roadway in the closed area. This is between Skycomish and the summit of Stevens Pass. And in came the snow blowers and the plows, and they cleared the road once the trees and the utility lines got cleared out. And then finally, they were able to reopen Stevens Pass to through traffic at around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. But again, even though Stevens Pass is open, chains are currently required if you're traveling over US 2. Well, the Washington State Senate approved a ban on plastic bags on Wednesday. It did that last year as well. The bill now goes to the House, where it failed last year. That's just one of hundreds of bills introduced this week. Our very own Kyle Montgomery reports on some of the other bills that the legislature is considering.
The Washington legislature opened this week with continued efforts to prohibit local income taxes, ban plastic bags and straws, and limit local fees on vehicle registrations. The short session will be anything but short of bills for lawmakers to consider. The hundreds of bills introduced thus far include everything from legalizing sports betting at tribal casinos and card rooms to allowing minors to legally operate a lemonade stand. There's also a House bill that would designate scenic bikeways and another that would establish a wild horse holding and training program at an eastern Washington prison. All bills must first clear a committee before being considered by the whole House or Senate. Many bills introduced each session never make it out of committee, so the fate of these bills is very much up in the air. With NCWLIFE, I'm Kyle Montgomery.
Thank you, Kyle, for that report. It's good to have you back on the team. Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett says a deputy's life-saving efforts this week illustrates the need for more AED-equipped patrol cars. Burnett used the incident to make a pitch for funding additional portable electronic heart defibrillators in a recent segment of In Focus with our very own special news correspondent, Steve Hare.
We've outfitted a majority of our vehicles, and we assign those specifically to our outlying areas. So if we got people that are working up in the Lake Chelan Valley or up in the Leavenworth and Lake Wenatchee area, those are the cars we want those defibrillators in first, because we believe that majority of the time, if not almost, all the time, our deputies are going to have the ability to be first responders even before fire or EMS. And we actually had a deputy respond to a call out in the Leavenworth area yesterday where they heard there was a CPR cardiac issue going on and a CPR in progress. And she was just within a couple minutes away, grabbed her AED from her vehicle and was able to apply that. I guess the person on scene was actually a EMT or EMS worker. And so they worked together and activated it. And they had a positive outcome, and that person is alive and well today. And I think that's awesome, because we could go out and raise a couple $100,000, and for me, and if it's one save, it's worth all of that resources. But we need to have the percentages, we need to get them in the vehicle. So we still got a little bit of work to do there, Steve, and raising maybe a little bit more money, and then being able to get them in every one of our marked patrol vehicles.
The sheriff, by the way, credited several service organizations for helping funding the AEDs, the Kiwanis, the Lions Club, and local Rotary clubs for their efforts. And you can contact Sheriff Brian Burnett for more information. And finally, what's going on this weekend? I don't know, but we have an in-house expert. It's Weekend Events with Megan McPherson.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. Lake Chelan Winterfest begins this weekend. Enjoy wine and ale tastings, horse-drawn carriages, intricate ice sculptures, live music, activities for kids of all ages, a massive beach bonfire, a spectacular fireworks show, and much more. Backed by popular demand, Dancing with the Wenatchee Stars is this Friday at 7:30 p.m. at the Numerica PAC. 6 prominent community members have been paired with a professional to learn a ballroom dance routine over 1 week. They are then costumed, video highlights, and a judges panel are added, and the contestants are put into a show where the audience will vote for who will win the Mirror Ball Trophy. Join the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center for their annual Martin Luther King Multicultural Fest this Saturday from 10 to 3. This free event is a celebration of the rich diversity of our region. The City of Wenatchee will award the annual Civil Rights and Social Justice Awards during the program. Visitors will experience the many local cultural and heritage groups that make up the tapestry of our community. Through booth displays of art, food, crafts, clothes, pictures, and more, visitors will be educated about the many diverse cultures represented. The stage will come alive with performances of music and dance throughout the day. Women's March Wenatchee takes place this Saturday from 10 to 1. Plan to be indoors in your seat at the Numerica PAC, either in the balcony or downstairs theater by 10:30 a.m. At about 11:30, everyone will take to the street for a march through downtown Wenatchee, returning to the PAC. Voter registration will be available upstairs, as well as information tables hosted by local allies and affinity groups. The national focus this year is on climate justice, immigration, and human rights and women's rights. AG Bob Ferguson will join in again, as well as other distinguished speakers. And finally, the Empty Bowls Community Painting Party is this Sunday from 1 to 6 at Pybus Public Market. This event is designed to bring together the community through creative expression and education on hunger relief efforts. In exchange for a cash or check donation of $10 for single or $35 for a family of up to 5, you will be able to paint and personalize a ceramic bowl. For more information on this weekend's events and others, visit the community calendar at NCWLIFE.com.
Thank you much, Megan, for that report. Don't forget, wherever you go this weekend, take us along. We're portable. We stream all the time. Whenever we're broadcasting, either over the air or on your local cable provider, we are also streaming on our website. If you go to the homepage and scroll down a little bit, you'll see it right there, and you can watch the NCWLIFE channel on your smartphone or your smart TV or whatever the case may be, whenever you darn well want. The news team will be back at it today in the bullpen, gathering news and putting together a newscast for you. And with the preview, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCWLIFE Evening News, another winter storm system is headed our way. What's in store? We'll talk about it in your North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will be in with highlights and reaction to last night's Wenatchee versus Moses Lake wrestling match. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. We appreciate it. Nice haircut. By the way, Grant, he cleans up nicely, doesn't he? And his personal hygiene is impeccable, I might add. Check out the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. You can also watch it on demand. We invite you to get a hold of us. You can go to our Facebook page and drop us a line. Email us news@ncwlife.com. You can also use our homepage, ncwlife.com, and use that as a tool. There's a contact us icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And don't forget, after the news tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll have high school basketball. In fact, we'll preview the weekend in sports when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel. Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, serving North Central Washington, is proud to offer the finest heating and cooling air quality products along with prompt and professional customer service since 1984. Regardless of the temperature outside, Arctic is here for you.
Arctic offers a variety of services: residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
The world around us is constantly changing. Major employers in North Central Washington have expressed a need for capable, qualified engineering technologists who can think critically and solve problems. And at Wenatchee Valley College, we listened. We are pleased to offer a Bachelor of Applied Science Engineering Technology degree to provide you with a world of new opportunities. Your time is now. The future is waiting for you.
And we're back at 21 minutes after the hour. Frozen fog, 10 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley. We'll warm up to the mid-20s. Lots of clouds today, and then snow overnight tonight and most of the day on Saturday. Let's talk sports. The Washington State Cougars knocked off a ranked opponent for the first time since 2007. Happened last night at Friel Court in Pullman. C.J. Ellaby scoring 25 points. The Cougars beating number 8 Oregon 72-61. Also on the Les Schwab Men's College scoreboard from last night. Number 1 Gonzaga, no trouble with Santa Clara. They won at the Kennel 104-54. Eastern Washington topped Idaho, as you see there, and Central Washington beat visiting Alaska Anchorage 84-50. Les Schwab Women's College basketball scoreboard. There you go. Number 16 Gonzaga won on the road. They beat Santa Clara. Central Washington over Western, and Idaho beat Eastern Washington 69-60. Let's talk about what's coming up. The schedule in men's college basketball tomorrow. You got the Huskies hosting the Ducks at 12:45, and you can watch that game on CBS. Washington State entertains Oregon State on the Pac-12 network. That's at 1 o'clock. Eastern Washington travels to Montana State at 3. Wenatchee Valley College will host Spokane at 4. Number 1 Gonzaga will host BYU. You can watch that on ESPN2 tomorrow night at 7. And Central Washington will host Alaska at 7:15. The women's college basketball schedule sprinkled throughout the weekend. It begins tonight with the number 18 Arizona State at Washington, number 21 Arizona at Washington State. That's at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, Wenatchee Valley will host Spokane. Montana State and Eastern Washington tip it off at 2:05 in Cheney. Number 16 Gonzaga travels to San Francisco, and Central Washington will host Simon Fraser. And then on Sunday, number 18 Arizona State visits Washington State, and Washington will host Arizona in women's college basketball. To the Les Schwab Prep Wrestling scoreboard from last night, Moses Lake won 5 matches by pin. They beat the Panthers 53-12. The Chiefs, Cameron Reagan, Joey Fadig, Sal Vila, and Jeremiah Martinez all won by fall to help Moses Lake improve to 3-1 in league. Wenatchee's first of 3 wins on the night came in overtime for Alan Sewin at 160 pounds. Our cameras were there. Eric Granstrom was there. Here are your highlights.
Whistle sounds. Wrestlers start. 16 seconds left in this match. Barajas sits out. The counter, watch out. He's getting a little high, and it's tied up at 5-5, 6 seconds left. We might be going to overtime. The shot by Barajas. The time winding down, 1 second left, and it is the end of the match regulation. We're going to overtime. And the whistle. And the sit out. And the turn. Reversal by Alan Swan. Swan now looking for more points. He leads it 7-5 with 18 seconds left. Wenatchee entire bench leap to their feet. The arm is barred. Now he's trying to get the spin. He's got 5 seconds to do so. Alan Swan looking over towards the heavens, and he is going to win the match by a final of 7-5 in double overtime. Freidig is the and now thrown to his back here by Rodriguez. Looking for the pin, and he gets it just 27 seconds into round number 1. 5-2 the score. Kyle gets a deep shot on the leg, but then tossed to his back. Watch your balance, watch your balance. We got 2 per side and maybe a pin here. Kyle, the time will run out in the round. We got a 2-point near fall and a 2-point reversal and a 2-point near fall. Still neutral. 17 seconds left. Near the out of bounds circle. Now Kyle trying to reach up, maybe get a chance for a throw with 8 seconds left. Pushing and pushing. with 5 with 4 seconds left. Trailing it by 3, 11-8 the score. With 1, and that's going to be it, the end of the match, and Carranza will hold on for the victory here. Not an easy one by any stretch, but he gives Wenatchee 3 more points with an 11-8 victory over Andrew Kyle, much to the happiness of the fans here at Wenatchee High School.
Also on the mats last night, by the way, let's take a look at the scoreboard one more time, courtesy of our friends at Les Schwab. Eastmont traveled to Davis, picked up the victory there. Afraid of beating Grandview, Prosser. Afraid to beat Grandview and Prosser. Quincy also a winner. They beat Prosser and Grandview. The Wenatchee girls victorious last night. They beat Moses Lake, as you see, 30-24. It's the wrestling schedule for the weekend. You got Cashmere, Eastmont, Ephrata, Moses Lake, Quincy, and Wenatchee. Their girls teams will be among 53 teams. They'll be wrestling today and tomorrow in Othello. It's the Lady Husky Invite. Wrestling gets underway today at 5 and then resumes tomorrow at 10 a.m. Also on Saturday, Eastmont wrestles at the Ray Westberg Invite. That's in Ellensburg. That begins at 9. Also at 9, Quincy's at the Hazen Tournament. Wenatchee's on the road at the Marysville Pilchuck Tournament. That begins at 9:30. Cascade, Cashmere, and Ephrata are going to be at the Apple Pie Invite. Apple Pie. Also at 10 o'clock, the Chelan boys will wrestle at the Rainier Tournament. The Moses Lake boys will wrestle at the Lake Stevens Invite beginning Saturday at 11 o'clock. To the Les Schwab Prep Girls Bowling scoreboard from last night. Wenatchee blanked Sela. Eastmont swept Moses Lake. The Wenatchee match, of course, was a non-leaguer. So if the Panthers beat West Valley on Tuesday, that sets up a winner-take-all match Thursday at Nob Hill Lanes between Wenatchee and Ike. The league champion gets the honors of hosting the district tournament on January 31st. In the pool yesterday, Moses Lake beat Davis 141-23, and Eastmont won by a narrow margin. They down to West Valley 85-79. The swimming schedule for tomorrow. You got Eastmont and Wenatchee joining 6 other teams at the Whitman College for a swim meet that begins at noon. Busy weekend of high school basketball begins tonight. Eastmont will host Sunnyside. It's a girls-boys doubleheader at 5:45. Grant Olson will have the play-by-play on the NCWLIFE channel. We'll start the broadcast at 6:30, right after the evening news. Also at 5:45 tonight, Wenatchee's at West Valley. Ephrata hosts Wapato. Grandview's at Quincy. Cascade hosts Omak. And Chelan is at Cashmere. Mansfield will host Soap Lake at 6. And Waterville-Mansfield battles for first place. They'll be taking on Libertyville. Boys basketball tonight. 7:15 tip-off for Wapato and Ephrata, Quincy and Grandview, Omak and Leavenworth. Leavenworth is in. Omak will be in Leavenworth to take on Cascade. Cashmere will host Chelan. Eastmont will host Sunnyside at 7:30. Again, Grant on the play-by-play, and that broadcast will begin about 8 o'clock. Also on 7:30, it's Wenatchee at West Valley. Manson hosts Soap Lake, and Waterville-Mansfield travels to Libertyville. That's today. Let's talk tomorrow. Entiat has a date with Wilbur Christian and girls basketball at 4:30. Wenatchee hosts Moses Lake at 5:45. Eric will be there. We'll have the game for you live at Wenatchee High School. Broadcast begins at 5:30. Kennewick plays at Eastmont at 5:45. At 6, you got Chelan at LaSalle, Waterville-Mansfield at Soap Lake, and Libertyville visits Manson. And in boys basketball, pretty much the same schedule, just a little bit later on. You got Eastmont hosting Kennewick. You got Wenatchee taking on Moses Lake, again live right here on the NCWLIFE channel. Chelan is at LaSalle. Soap Lake entertains Waterville-Mansfield. The Wenatchee Wild have a 4-game homestand. Begins tonight at the Town Toyota Center. Cowichan Valley, the Capitals in town. It is Scouts Night tonight at 7:05. Tomorrow at 7:05, it's Military Appreciation Night. The Surrey Eagles come calling. And finally, by the end of the day on Sunday, we'll know this year's participants for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is a registered trademark of the National Football League, all rights reserved. Tennessee and Kansas City begin play for the Lamar Hunt Trophy. The AFC Championship is at 12:05 at Arrowhead Stadium, and that'll be on CBS. And then at 3:40 on Fox, you got Green Bay and San Francisco at Levi's Stadium. The winner of the NFC Championship gets the George Halas Trophy, and then we have Super Bowl LIV in Miami the first Sunday in February. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday, just about the bottom of the hour. On this January 17th, the obscure holiday is Ditch Your New Year's Resolution Day. If you haven't already, about 80% of all people who make a New Year's resolution don't make it to the end of the year with their resolution intact. That's pretty alarming. If you've always wanted an excuse just to get rid of your New Year's resolution, whatever it is, today's the day. You know, I made it for 16 days. Nerds do it. I'm going to go back to my old habits. If you actually go all the way through the entire year and you keep your New Year's resolution intact, good for you. I've never been able to do that. On the other hand, I don't really make New Year's resolutions either. It's much easier to not worry about breaking your New Year's resolution if you never make them. So if you if you're still on it and you just want any reason at all to break your New Year's resolution, today's your day to get out from underneath the promise you made to yourself. It's a federal holiday, by the way. I'm kidding. Today in history. This is the 70th anniversary of the Great Brinks robbery. 11 thieves, after 2 years of careful planning, logistics, and all that stuff, they were able to steal $2.77 million from the Armored Car Company's bank offices in Boston. That would be just about $28 million in today's money. At the time, it was the largest robbery in American history. 11 members of the gang pulled the whole thing off, and here's the most amazing thing of all. 5 days before the statute of limitations was to run out and they could not be charged and they would have gotten away with it, 6 suspects were arrested. Of the $2.7 million that was stolen, only about $60,000 was ever recovered. So maybe in a way they did get away with it. The Great Brinks robbery 70 years ago today. This is the 59th anniversary of Eisenhower's farewell address to the nation. January 17, 1961, 3 days before leaving office, he addressed the nation for 15 minutes on his concerns. Here's the most famous quote of them all from that speech.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
We didn't listen, did we? Nope. Ike knew what he was talking about. That was 59 years ago today. This is the 49th anniversary of Super Bowl V, Super Bowl V, the Colts beating the Cowboys 16-13 in Miami. It became known as the Stupor Bowl because of the Super Bowl. It was perhaps the most poorly played Super Bowl ever until last year's 13-3 snooze fest between the Patriots and the Rams. They had, let's see, a missed PAT, multiple penalties, 11 turnovers combined between the two teams, 5 turnovers alone in the fourth quarter. Jim O'Brien kicked the game-winning field goal. So the ending was exciting. The game itself was really bad. How bad was the game? Chuck Howley was named the most valuable player of Super Bowl V, and he played for the losing team. Super Bowl V, held on this date, January 17, 1971. And this is the 29th anniversary of the beginning of the Gulf War. Operation Desert Storm began in the early morning hours. We remember it well if you were around. Iraq firing Scud missiles into Israel in an unsuccessful attempt to provoke Israeli retaliation. And we said, okay, we're in now. Let's go. Operation Desert Storm began on this date 29 years ago today. I remember it well. And finally, at 34 minutes after the hour, birthdays. My favorite founding father, Ben Franklin, the first American. That's his nickname. Benjamin Franklin was born in this date in 1706, lived a very full and eventful and wonderful life, and he lived to the age of 84. Like almost all of the founding fathers, they lived a very long time, considering it was the 18th century. It was remarkable. With the exception of George Washington and Thomas Paine, the rest of the founding fathers lived pretty long lives. The famous quote about Benjamin Franklin, the only president of the United States who was never president of the United States. Benjamin Franklin is also one of only 6 men who signed both the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. Good old Ben, born on this date in 1706. The most famous criminal in American history was born on this date in 1899, Al Capone. Died in 1947 at the age of 48. Basically ran Chicago with an iron thumb. Al Capone did. Al Capone, by the way, had a younger brother. Guess what he ended up doing for a living? He became a cop. Go figure. And his only son became a florist. You never know. Al Capone, born in the state in 1889, and the greatest. Oh, we miss Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, the greatest. The American boxer born in the state in 1942. Of course, we lost the great Ali 4 years ago at the age of 74. Not much to say the greatest, Muhammad Ali, born in the state of 1942. Hey, Winterfest is this weekend in beautiful Chelan. Mother Nature is going to participate. She's bringing Chelan lots of snow on Sunday, Saturday, I should say. On Saturday, everybody's going to get some snow, including Chelan. So this is a good chance for you to head on up and take advantage of the Campbell's Destination Deal. Again, if you're a local, you live here in the Wenatchee Valley, or anywhere really in North Central Washington, just call up Campbell, say, I'm a local, I live here, and I want to head on up to Chelan and kind of chill out and enjoy the party, the festivities of Winterfest this weekend. If you're a local, you can get a room at Campbell's starting at just $95 a night. Now, my guess is Campbell's is going to be quite busy this weekend with Winterfest going on, so don't dawdle. Get it done. Again, if you're a local, you can get a room at Campbell's starting at just $95 a night through the month of January. Going to take a break. Mike McNaughty has an opinion. Then my conversation with Ashley Center about a big day tomorrow at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. Still coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
Are you like many who are lacking in their retirement plan but are skeptical to talk to an advisor? Are you concerned about where you should put your money or who to trust? At Solomon Financial, we are more about the people we serve than policies or products. We are a fee-based fiduciary with the mission of giving you the peace of mind so you can live the retirement of your dreams. If you have any of these questions or concerns, we'd welcome you to come see us.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
For plumbing, heating, or cooling repair, Patriot will be right there.
We know they exist, those who love cold water.
Yeah, no thanks.
Fortunately, there is plenty of hot water for the rest of us from Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Ask the pros at Patriot which Rheem water heater is right for your home.
Patriot Plumbing, heating and cooling, will give your home a hug.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, how we men perceive our behaviors with our wives can have a huge effect, not only on our relationships, but on how we end up being the man who we want to be. Now, working with a couple recently, the wife was weeping in rage due to her husband's insensitive behavior. Now, he looked at me and he said, "I'm not doing anything wrong. What am I supposed to do? Be a wimp and just do everything she tells me to do?" I told him, hey, stop being stupid and face the fact that you're insisting on doing what you want to do is being hurtful to a person who you claim to love, a woman who we promised to protect and cherish. I said, maybe you should be willing to let go of what you think your rights are and start showing some love and respect to your wife. Now, that's hardly being a wimp, my friend. That's being a real man. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. See their full line of Crown Line boats. Crown Line features the Forte gel coat, which perfectly accentuates the sporty silhouette of this boat. Its contours are further enhanced by Crown Line's patented Fast Tab hull design, which not only embraces the distinctive sports car styling, but also ensures a safe and comfortable ride. See Crown Line boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
I'm Daisy Baltz. I'm Director of Housekeeping here at Colonial Vista, Prestige Senior Living now. I enjoy what I do. I'm happy here, so I just stay. And that's one of the things that they're so well known for, is their quality of care, trying to meet every resident's needs. Residents are my number one. If they're happy, then I'm happy. I can tell that. They smile, they laugh. Happy residents, happy life.
Call today for your tour.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, Site Coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. One of the biggest fans of the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center is me. I will proudly say that. Ashley Sinner is a regular contributor to this program. She's the Outreach and Public Relations Coordinator. And whenever Ashley sends me an email and says, hey, Dan, can I come do the show? And I say, do you have to? Really? No, I'm kidding. We love Ashley. We love Ashley. She does a great job. We love the museum. We love the crew there. We love everything about the museum. We've talked about this quite often. If you're going to live in the Wenatchee Valley, you're going to call this place home, this is where you're going to put down roots. You got to go to the museum and learn about the community that you are deciding to call home, and there's no better place to do it than at the museum, is there?
That's right.
It's all there.
Yep.
So.
There's always something fun happening at the museum.
And it's a cool building, too.
It
it's
is
neat,
kind
it
of
must be a
cool.
fun place to go to work, isn't it?
It is kind of fun. It's a little, yeah, during the haunt it's a little creepy. But and right now it's a bit cold.
Yeah, well,
in some spaces, although it's very weird. Some spaces are cold and other spaces are warm. So you never know what you're going to get.
And, you know, it was a great job when they decided to build the new post office, which is now the federal building, which is now City Hall, back in the early 1970s, and they had the big post office downtown to turn it into the museum.
Yeah, there's really some cool things. One of my favorite things, so when you go in there next, you should see in the door frames, especially in the annex building, that second building where like the Apple industry is, the woodwork around the doors, in the top corners, there's apples carved into the woodwork. It's very cool.
It's pretty cool, and it's most of the original architectural flourishes when that building was built, as the post office, are still there.
Yeah.
And we have a thriving museum right in the middle of downtown. A lot of communities don't have that.
No, yeah.
They don't have that at all.
That's very nice. Yeah.
So there's a lot going on. Specifically, we're gonna touch base on what's happening tomorrow. The annual Martin Luther King Multicultural Fest is back for year 17.
17th
That's
annual.
pretty
That's
impressive.
right. Yes. So yes, it starts at 10 from 10 to 3. It's a free event all day. We have entertainment on the stage, like the Eastmont marimba group comes and plays. We have Irish dancers. We have the Sons of Norway are giving a special presentation this year. It's their 125th anniversary as an organization. So they're going to talk about it, and they're going to have cake. So there'll be cake. And yeah, we have crafts, a special flute craft from the Andes Mountains called a Zampanone or something, Zampanones or something, and so we have clay from Central America, like the pottery. We have that every year, and so it will be back. We have lots of booths display. You know, the booths are sponsored by individuals and community groups here in the North Central Washington. So people will come and they'll get to see the basket weavers from the Wenatchee Pasca tribe. There's a gentleman who was in the Peace Corps in Ghana, and he will be there too. So it's lots of fun and really a good, rich educational opportunity to come and like interact and find out more about the
And you want to bring the kids, right? You want to bring the kids.
Definitely.
Because there's lots of things for the kids to do.
There is. There's craft activities. They get passports with we take their picture and put it in a little book for a passport, and they can take it around to all the booths and get a special sticker inside their passport. And of course, participate with the crafts. And a lot of the booths have interactive elements to them, so they'll bring activities for the kids to do as well.
And if there's anything that's changed in the world of museums, it's sort of you can look but you can't touch. You know, look at the nice thing on the wall that's old, but that's not the case with museums anymore. Everybody's going interactive. That's the way to go.
Yeah, it is interactive. The My Sky exhibit we just wrapped up was very interactive. Our exhibit right now, you cannot touch.
Because some of these quilts are older than old.
Yes,
the Hartsfield Family Quilt Collection.
That's
Talk
right.
about that.
The Hartsfield Family Quilt Collection is one family's craft of quilting dating back to the 1850s and going to like the mid 20th century. So then there's a local quilter who took the originals and she made replicas, and in some cases those replicas hanging next to the original is modeled to match it in colors and style as much as it can. And then she also has these really beautiful modern ones with neon colors, really brightly, a different kind of twist and spin, her take on that original pattern. So it's very cool.
I wonder what the challenges are of keeping a quilt that was made in 1862 from just rotting away. I mean,
I know.
I wonder what that's like.
I have no idea. There are many quilts that are just in beautiful condition, and there are some, the oldest ones, that are in glass covered. Some of them, of course, lose their shape and form, and possibly maybe they have been able to save over time through repairs and things. I don't know, but yeah, it is really interesting, and it makes for a really beautiful backdrop for this multicultural event on
And
Saturday.
quilts can very often be, I have a sister who quilts, can be works of art.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
it's
are.
like, I don't want to throw this on my bed or throw this on my couch. I want to hang it up and look at it and admire it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so tonight our members get to see it for the first time, and then tomorrow at Multicultural Festival, then it's open to the public, so everyone will get
How many quilts are going to be on display? Do you know?
You know, I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's between 12 and 16. I'm
Which
not
is
sure
a lot
exactly.
of quilts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of quilts. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning, you throw the doors open. It's
That's right.
How much does it cost, Ashley?
It is free.
Yeah, there you go.
It's our
How can you get away with free? I mean, obviously, you got to have sponsors or something.
We do have sponsors, and now I want to make sure that I list them all.
I got it.
You do have them?
Amera Group and Anthem
Yes.
Company, Chelan County PUD, iFiber Communications.
And we have Together for Youth is our presenting sponsor. They just came on after the press release went out. So yes, we are very grateful for them. Our sponsors help keep our cultural events free to the public, which we want to do. It's a priority for us.
And we're hoping that there's going to be Civil Rights and Social Justice Awards handed out as well, some hardware.
Yes, that's right. At around 11:30, I believe, in our program, we'll have the city come to present their awards, which is, I don't know how many years it could be 17 also. I don't know how many years they've been doing that, but we will see who those winners are then. And yes, it is an annual event that's really important to the community and making sure that we stay diverse and inclusive to everyone who's a part of this community and learn about our neighbors.
It strengthens our community. It really
For
does.
sure.
And then Kenny is going to be out and about. You guys have got some listening sessions.
That is right.
This is new, is it not?
Yes.
Talk about the genesis of this, where the idea came from, and why you're doing it.
That's right. Okay, so Kenny came on board with the museum as our executive director a little bit over a year ago in November of the previous year. And as part of her coming on board, she has been working with the board of directors to start a strategic planning process. And so over the course of her year plus here, there's been a lot of internal strategic planning elements that have been happening, and with the staff and the board, and with some community members. And now we're launching into a wider part of that process to invite the whole community to come and give their input. So starting on Wednesday, January 22nd, we're holding 4 listening sessions over 2 weeks. And we are inviting the community to come and give their input, tell us their ideas and opinions about how the museum can grow to better serve their needs. So it's going to be fun, interactive discussions. They start at 7 p.m. and they last no longer than like an hour and a half, so 7 to 8:30. And there's light refreshment, so it's a relaxed, fun environment.
Cool. And there's Wednesday, January 22nd at the Wenatchee Community Center, which is right down the road from us.
Right.
On the 23rd, it's going to be at the museum, the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. They're going to be at East Wenatchee on the 29th, and then back at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center on the 30th. Was any of these going to be bilingual? Or?
They will all have a translator.
Okay.
Everyone is invited to any of the 4 listening sessions to give your feedback and input and ideas about what we can do. We're excited to hear from everyone. And the one at the community center on the 22nd will have a primary focus to hear from the Latino community. And obviously the one in East Wenatchee will have a primary focus to hear from residents in East Wenatchee. But again, if those times work best for you to come, you should come on those days. Yeah.
Cool, and I'm glad that Kenny is settled into her job. Well, she's been there for a year.
Yeah,
so
she's gone through the full cycle of everything, and she doesn't have to attend an event that Multicultural Fest last year was the first time she's seen it. So
That's
now
right.
she knows.
That's right.
She knows what it's like. Yeah.
And last but not least, before we cut you loose, you got that film series, the continuing environmental film series. You've already had the first film. That was a couple of days ago, but you got some coming through in the winter and in the spring, right?
That's right. We have. The next one is in a couple weeks on January 28th. We have The Eagle Huntress, and this is a film about a girl who is a nomad, and she is trying to become the first female eagle huntress in overcoming diversity to do that. So that will be a good film, and it is sponsored by the Wenatchee River Institute, and the whole series is sponsored by the Hay River Canyon and the Nature Conservancy. So we have our full series with films that are once or twice a month on Tuesdays, typically at 7 p.m. They're mostly family friendly. If there is an age recommendation, it will list that on our website in the description of the film, because they're some that have stronger, emotional content because of, we're dealing with the environment. So,
Which has been in the news lately, since quite a bit of it. And these are all documentaries. That's the most important thing.
Some of them are presentations, so it will say that in the description. So we have several documentaries that are coming up, really interesting ones. The True Cost in February 4th has to do with clothes and the clothing industry and the fast fashion is what they call it, disposable clothes, and what that does to the environment and the economy and the people who are making the clothes. The Albatross is the one in particular I was talking that has an age recommendation of 12. That has to do with the albatross who live on Midway Island and how plastic is affecting even that remote island.
And let's finish up where we started, Ashley. Again, specifically, we want to talk one more time about Saturday. Everything that everybody needs to know about the 17th Annual Multicultural Fest. One more time.
It's Martin Luther King Multicultural Festival from 10 to 3, Saturday the 18th. We will have lots of fun and entertainment. There's a special Martin Luther King exhibit upstairs in our rotating gallery, so make sure you stop and see that. Craft activities, cultural booths. It's just a good, fun day. So inside and warm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a little snowy on Saturday. Everything we just talked about, by the way, is on the museum's website. It's pretty simple. You just Google Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, pops right up as the entire schedule for what's going on Saturday, the environmental film, the speaker series, the listening session. It's all there.
It is.
It's all there for you to peruse. It's always good to see you, Ashley.
You too.
Next time you got a big weekend and big stuff coming up, you give me a call and we'll make it happen, all right?
I will.
All right, Ashley Sinner making her very first appearance on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
And we are back with a couple of minutes left on this Friday edition of the program. Of course, the big story that we're going to be following this weekend is the snow. The second snow event of this week is coming up over the weekend. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But first, we want to take one more tour around the valley with our Valley View cameras because now we can see things that we couldn't see an hour ago. Malcolm, throw up a couple of cameras to see what we got here. Now that the fog has begun to lift, it's also 16 degrees. It was only 9 degrees with the hazy and icy and foggy conditions. That's Monument Hill, I believe, once again out there in Quincy. As you can see, the fog has settled down there. Out there in Quincy, that wasn't the case an hour ago. Let's see what else we have here on our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. Wow, is that the cross camera, Malcolm? Look at that. Boy, that's what you call socked in with low clouds and fog. That's the cross camera. It's up in elevation, but it's really not that high in elevation. Somewhere down there is the Wenatchee Valley. That's an incredible view, considering you can't see anything, but it's still really neat. It's like being in an airplane. Camera number 3. What do we got? Is that, boy, you threw me for a loop there, Malcolm. Is that, let me guess here, is that Rude Canyon? Waterville? What are we looking at? That's Rude Canyon. So that's a pretty cool view. It's got a lot of snow there. They're up above the cloud cover, as you can see. And finally, one more camera before we move into the weather forecast. That would be, oh boy, you did throw me for some loops today with these new cameras, Malcolm. What are we looking at here? Oh, that's Badger Mountain. Okay, wow, and they moved it a little bit. So yeah, somewhere down there is the Wenatchee Valley, and we're going to be dealing, by the way, with fog and haze and clouds pretty much all day today. But the big story is going to be the snow. How much snow are we going to get? We have a slide from the National Weather Service that they sent to us that we're going to show up there for you. There you go. You see that 3 to 4 inches. We could actually maybe even get 5 inches of snow here in the Wenatchee Valley. We have a winter storm watch. It begins at 1 in the morning. It goes until 5 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. So some light snow starts coming down about 10 o'clock tonight in the Wenatchee Valley. The system is coming down by the way, from the southwest, and it will last until pretty much most of the day. Most of the snow will be fairly moderate, but a couple of times the snow is going to come down at a pretty good pace. Let's go ahead and take a look at that forecast one more time from the National Weather Service. Again, not a lot happening today. Pretty quiet, just kind of cloudy and foggy. We'll top off at 29. The snow about 10, 11 o'clock tonight is when it's going to start coming down. By the time you wake up Saturday morning and the sun's up, we could have upwards of 2 inches of snow on the ground. And then during the course of the day on Saturday, an additional 1, 2, maybe even 3 inches of snow on the ground. So we could have upwards of 5 inches of snow by Saturday night of new snow on the ground, at least a couple of inches, probably right around 3, maybe even 4, but we could have as much as 5 inches of snow here on the valley floor, by Saturday night. And then, as you can see there, we have a persistent cloud cover of patchy freezing fog in the overnight hours, but at least we warm up and we'll have some snow melt by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday for the holiday. Real quickly on the mountain passes, chains are required on I-90. Traction tires are required now on I-90, so things have gotten better there. So it's still pretty slow going. Stevens Pass is open, but they do have a chain requirement going on. And on Blewett Pass right now, traction tires are advised. So traction tires advised on Blewett, required on I-90, chains required on Stevens Pass. That's it for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.